back with another episode. It's been a few weeks. We've been on the road. We've been a little bit busy, you know. How's it been going on your end?
Really good. I just got back from PNB on Sunday night.
Yep.
Um, that was fun and interesting. And
Yeah,
then I've been super busy um, with catching up on stuff and
sure.
UFC in general. How about
So,
yourself?
yeah, working the mod booth for the vintage Clash of Champions and working the mod booth for the Huddy series. Or how do you pronounce it? I asked the chat and they were all split.
I say Hootie. I
Hootie.
don't. Yeah, I don't know if that's right or wrong.
I want to hear Martin say it once. Um, but yeah, it, you know, 2 weeks in a row, man. Let's just say I'm glad I'm home, but it was so much fun. Um, yeah, but before we get into it, I do have a question. Did that ridiculous line rap like by the DRC booth?
For practice?
Practice, yeah.
No.
Ah, that's a bummer.
Yeah, it was. I guess when that was going on, I wasn't really there.
Okay.
Um, so I got to PNB Thursday night. I set up my booth, and then Friday about like 9, I think I got back to the track, and I
Okay.
was there until about 9 on Friday, and everything in that area shuts down at 9 o'clock. So
Okay.
I got to eat McDonald's for dinner.
Yeah. Yes.
Uh,
Yeah. So, well, let's start out with the vintage Clash of Champions. Jason Klein and Lance Parker checking in. Lance was at P&B as well. So, the best way to they do not have there we go. Overall, because it did qual points. The best way to describe this race for myself is a childhood dream come true. I mean, I'm a bit older. I remember, growing up and looking at all those guys in RC car action and all that other stuff. It was so cool to interview like Josh Cyril, even though I BS with Josh on Facebook every once in a while about non-RC stuff. Um, but like Jay Halsey. So I was told that the car Jay was running was the world's car with different tires and a different body. So it was a 1985 world's car. So allegedly, the car I was holding during the interview was the first off-road world champion car ever.
wow.
Um, yeah, I mean, interviewing Curtis Hustings and I felt like such a douchebag. So I don't watch Street Outlaws. Do you watch Street Outlaws?
No.
So I was interviewing Dean Carnes, as I know Dean Carnes is, RC pro from the 90s. Not at the pretty high level, but not at the highest level. He was getting paid. Uh, I'm like, what do you do? He's like, I'm on a show on the Discovery Channel called Street Outlaws. I'm like, oh shit. Okay. Yeah. And it's cool the little bit I got to talk to you as well. I wish I could have gone to jiu-jitsu. I was injured and stuff like that. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. Benjamin James checking in. He watched us on the Vintage Clash stream as well. But I mean, I also interviewed Matt Ledger. Who else did I interview? I interviewed a lot of people. I, Matt got to I interviewed Gabe Bordeaux, Alan Horn,
Mhm.
Matt interviewed Matt Francis, Greg Hodap, Jimmy Babcock, Chris Dosak, and Joel Johnson. I wanted the Joel Johnson interview, but that's all right. So yeah, I mean, and then Clayton, the Roar president, stopped by. He flew in to tie up some loose ends for the Nationals and other things.
Yeah.
So he did an interview, and you guys hung out.
Yeah,
So
it was cool to see him.
yeah, I did not watch the interview because when I wasn't in the booth, I ran and used the bathroom and all that other stuff. So what I mean, he was just going there to talk to Eddie and Angie about the Roar Nationals coming up and other things. And why else was he there?
To promote the event as well. Some of those guys that are there were also going to be at the Roar Nationals.
Okay.
It kind of wasn't a great race for that, just because it was more like a Legends race, and it would
Well,
be
yeah.
like a big race.
Well, a
But
lot of the guys that were there, that was their first time racing in 20 years.
or more, yeah.
Yeah, maybe not 20, but first time like going to a big event. Like there was Painter Mike from Skull Racing. There was Bob Stormer. Bob Stormer hasn't ran on dirt since the early 2000s, if that.
Mhm.
There were a ton of people there that they're not going to sniff a track again until the next one of those comes by. And an event like that is not an every year event. No
No,
way.
it's a lot of work.
That's a lot. Dirk Anderson and Drew Boyd, the amount of work that they put in was one of the most amazing things I've ever seen from a track promoter, or they're not even a race promoter. It
Mhm.
was, and Eddie as well, and all those people. But the amount of work it took from everybody promoting it and putting it together, not just promoting it, but putting it together, it was crazy. Um, Evan Tapp
So,
checking in from a good weekend at the Hoodie Series. Sorry, go ahead.
why don't you elaborate a little bit on why the event was so great and what they did to promote it that was above and beyond?
Well, what they did to promote it above and beyond, they went on all the podcasts. They were going live constantly. They were doing waffles to promote the event. They were doing all kinds of things. The awards, the format for the Legends class is right in front of me. They did a reedy format for the Legends invite. Um, the Q&A session that they had before qualifying on Saturday, the party at the casino, just everything that went along with all of that was freaking amazing.
Top
So
golf as well, and they
I
had
didn't do the Top Golf. Well, I didn't do the casino either. I didn't know about the Top Golf.
it was okay. It was just kind of hangout.
Okay.
And then there was a major crash on the highway going into Louisville, so um, I feel like there was less people than normal. It took me like an hour to get there. It should have only
Oh,
taken like 30 minutes because I
gotcha.
had a detour around it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it was okay. It was a hangout. I got to talk to Eustace a lot, which is really cool. From MIP.
I met Eustace for the first time that weekend, and the dude was such a cool guy, and he had so many cool freaking ideas.
Hmm.
And I talked to him for 20 minutes. Like when he was leaving dinner on the final day, he sat and talked to the table where we were at for like 20 minutes. I was like, holy shit. Well, I mean, it's not a big deal to like Matt Olson because Matt worked for him for 7 years and still works alongside with him.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it was pretty freaking cool.
Yeah, I didn't know who he was until like a month ago, maybe,
Okay.
when they were promoting this event, and then I got to kind of discuss some things with him, and I really like his unique mindset on um, this business stuff, and it was
Yeah.
really cool seeing um, well, talking to him, and some of the other guys too. Matt Francis is a really chill dude. I
Yep.
don't know what I was expecting, but
Yeah. No, Matt's a good guy. I was sitting next to his 2 world championship winning cars in the booth while they were waiting to get a photo shoot done.
nice.
Dude, like I said, it was one of the coolest freaking experiences I've ever had.
I'll be right back.
Okay. So yeah, the whole thing, and working alongside the mod crew as well. I can't say enough about that. It's you have cameraman Chris, you got Shu, you got Matt, of course, you have Megan, and working with those guys and whatnot, it's pretty cool. But should we go through the legends results?
Yeah.
Because this is a little surprising because
You
I
know, I
didn't
didn't
really
even get to look at him yet.
I didn't look at it past the top 3, to be honest. So, well, Alan Horn won. He did a pretty clean sweep because he's one of the only ones that never stopped racing.
Yeah, I was about to say he had a big advantage.
Well, yeah, and he learned like the new style of driving, like what his kid is doing and whatnot. He can
Mhm.
scrub and whip and all that, and that's a lot.
Yeah.
Uh J Rowe took second. Matt Francis took third. Matt has not touched a transmitter. No off-road since 2005. The Worlds that was in 2005 was the last time he ran off-road. The last time he ran anything was on-road in 2008. And he came in so fucking competitive. Well,
Yeah.
first he came in, he's like, yeah, whatever it'll be. Gets a couple minutes into the first battery pack. He's like, all right, this is what we need to do to the car. I want to fucking win. Which I like. I mean, I like seeing extreme winners like that. Greg Hodap took fourth, Matt Ledger fifth, Josh Cyril sixth, Jimmy Babcock 7, Disco Dean Carnes in the 8, driving Stinky Pinky, Chris Dosak in the 9, Joel Johnson in the 10, Jammin' J. Halsey in 11, Curtis Husting in 12, Eustace Moore in 13, and Gabe Bordeaux in 14. So, yeah, it was a really good one.
Yeah, I was surprised at how well Josh drove, being an on-road racer. He hasn't touched an off-road car since 2003, he said,
Yeah, more than 20 years.
which is crazy. But he's a really good on-road driver still.
Yeah.
He competes at the highest level, making podiums regularly.
He almost podiumed at the Nationals.
I think he did podium at the Canadian Nationals.
No, I'm saying at the American.
Oh,
In mod 12, I want to say he took like 4th. Or was it? Yeah, it's mod 12.
I think he won Mod 12th in Canadian Nationals and did
Okay.
something else. Maybe he ran he ran Mod 12 scale like F1 or something.
Yeah, I got it.
They're the same class.
Yeah. So
Uh,
he literally raced 3 weeks in a row because it was the Roar Nationals, it was the Canadian Nationals, and then it was a Vintage Clash. Back to back to back. I did 2 weekends in a row, and I'm still freaking tired, and it's Wednesday.
yeah. I don't know how people can just leave and do stuff because I'm worn out still.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and again, thank you to the Henleys and to Drew Boyd and Dirk Anderson and Matt Olson for having me on the mod crew. That race was truly dream come true. Ha ha ha, man. We got an alias in the chat. And like I said, that's not going to be an every year scenario. That's 3 to 5 years. And I'm going to be at every freaking one.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they did every other year just because of the amount of work that went into it. And I was a little disappointed in the overall turnout. I thought there would be more people there.
You know, it was maxed. They turned away 150 entries.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they made it that way for people were pissed because they couldn't get in. That could have been a 500 entry race. Eddie turned away 150 entries.
See, that's maybe I'm getting them mixed up, but I remember that now that you said that. But it was just kind of like it was a really good size while I was there, but it was just kind of surprised that like the pits were kind of half full type of thing.
Yeah, it seemed like that, but he wanted to limit it because he wanted, he wanted the party at the casino to happen at a reasonable hour.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted everything to happen at a reasonable hour, basically.
And it did. Like,
Yes.
we got to Top Golf at like 8, I think. And I don't know what happened on Thursday with the dinner. Or no, that was Thursday. And then the casino was probably okay.
Yeah. So one of those nights, cameraman Chris and I went back to the Airbnb because we were just too tired. I think that was the casino night.
On Saturday.
Yeah, cameraman Chris and I were like, we've had it. And Froboy says he wanted to go but couldn't get the weekend off. Got hired to he got hired to run an oval race the weekend before, so he couldn't get off 2 weekends in a row. Yeah, man. And I understand he got to work. Lee Grace checking in from Australia. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, that definitely was a pretty good 2 weeks in a row, pretty good paychecks for mod. One better than the other. But, and again, dream come true. I'm thinking about October. It depends on what races we have still, what mod wants to do. I'm going to go to the INS. There's Aurora National Championship in August as well. Is there time to go to the Vegas off-road race is what I'm wondering. I don't know if there will be. I'm going to Chicago with the wife for our birthday in July. So her birthday, it's our birthday. We have the same birthday, but when we got married, it became her birthday. That's how that works. So then last week, like I was saying earlier, you attended the Psycho Nitro Blast as a vendor. How'd that go?
It was really good. I got to meet a lot of people. I got to officially put my products in the 3 traveling shops that were there. Speed Demon, Hobbies, Rhinos. I don't remember the name of his shop. And then Chad's shop as well.
Okay.
So that was cool. And then I had another couple vendors that were interested in the products. And then the response from the ASO crowd was awesome, which was nice. Last time, so I went to PNB like 2 years ago, and I didn't bring the right stuff because I don't race A scale. And so it was just kind of hard to do that. But I went down there this time more prepared. I took some notes for the next time. My wife says I should go again next year.
Did you
I'm
have fun?
it was okay.
Okay.
It would have been more fun if I went with like a friend or somebody.
Yeah.
Because it was just kind of me hanging out, and I got to do some business stuff. Um, but it was kind of like it wasn't bad by any means. It was just kind of like last PNB. I went with a group of guys from Hoosier,
Yep.
and we all hung out and had a good time.
Okay.
And this time it was just me. I knew a lot more people there, so it was not like I was a stranger, but it
Mhm.
just wasn't like it wasn't as fun, I guess.
Yeah.
And part of that was my fault. Um, you know, I after I I left the track at 7:30 to go
Okay.
get dinner on Friday and Saturday because I'm hungry
Yes.
and I don't want to eat McDonald's 3 nights in a row.
Oh, come
Um,
on. Turn your insides into plastic.
I don't like uh but it was and then I went back to the track on Saturday and hung out for a while with some of the guys, and that was fun. Got to hang out with the Nitro Pro crew and the Exalt guys and some of their drivers. So it was nice to rub some elbows and say hi and kind of uh, do that.
Absolutely. Uh, Alex is saying if he blows out of the 40 plus at INS, he's going to go to the AE vintage race instead. Yeah, I only have room for a couple of races, and I'm saving a couple of days for mod as well. So John Mans, I met him this weekend. He's hoping to see me at INS and Nats. You'll see me at INS at Island. I don't know about the Nats. It's one or the other for me, I think. The Nats are a little too long. You have to get there Tuesday night. But
That is a while.
if you
You
plan
have to?
for yeah, well, practice starts Wednesday. You have to be there every second for practice.
That seems early to me.
No, it's Wednesday practice. I forget how the schedule went, but it's Tuesday pit setup, Wednesday practice starts.
Is it like Wednesday morning practice starts?
I believe so.
Man. See, if it was like Wednesday noon, you could get there Wednesday morning.
Yeah, and still it's so you're looking at 3 days off of work.
Yeah. But I'll be at I'll see you at the INS race at Star Hobbies. For,
Oh, do you need anything to run?
I'm just going as a vendor.
Do you need anything to run?
Um.
Oh, I don't have any of your. Oh no, Zach disappeared.
Oh.
Yeah, that's all right. There. You are.
Oh, my hair.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, Joe, I'm okay.
I don't have any X-ray stuff.
I don't run for X-ray.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I have an X-ray car.
Do you want a truck? You want to run a truck? I'm running my 2-wheel and 40 plus mod at INS. Do you want to use as a mod buggy?
No.
Come on.
I would hate to just go out there and blow it up.
Oh, I'm gonna blow it the fuck up a few times.
Yeah.
Me with the mod it's like I'm very competent. I'm not fast, but I'm very competent with the stock motor. Give me anything bigger than a 13.5, I just
Really? Just pull the throttle less. It's fine.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna have dummy mode set in the ESC. Rick said he was making plans to hit the hoodie race, and I really should have been there, but 3 days off, 4 days hotel just isn't in the budget. If you sleep in the back of the van, maybe. Dude, I was sleeping on an air mattress in a corner of an Airbnb for media. I just ran my truck.
Yeah, I mean, like the I gotta find somebody to go with too. But the hotel for some of these things is hard. Like the hotel for P&B was like $600.
Well, the hotel for this one isn't that bad. It's just not that nice of a hotel. Now, if you want to stay at the Barrel, you're looking at between 120 and 150 a night. I stay at the Comfort Inn, which is between 60 and 80 a night. I
Oh,
just
that's reasonable.
I just make sure there's no bed bugs and I sleep on top of the comforter.
Yeah, I always throw the comforter in the corner.
I don't take the comforter off. I don't want to know what is in those sheets.
See, Joe, that makes me. I will just find something that's not that.
Well, that's the way I am. Oh, no, to be fair, nice hotels, I'm not that way. But I mean, we're RC racers. We will spend on a motor and battery combo, we'll spend close to $300, but we find the cheapest, shittiest hotels we can.
I mean, I didn't do that at P&B. Like it was 3 nights and it was almost $600.
That's an expensive hotel.
It was Best Western. Like it was like $110 a night plus fees and taxes. And just it is what it is.
Alex says if the tariffs on India go up, hotels will get more expensive. I don't think that's how it works. Well, let's look at some results because
Mhm.
some friends did very well in this one. In intermediate nitro buggy, you have Chris Morant, the hardest working man in RC, winning it. And he doesn't have the pro pace, but I mean, freaking guy was. Jason saying the Hampton Inn was about the same. But yeah, I mean, Chris Morant winning was awesome. I was looking for because I had some other friends.
Well, I
Go
I
ahead.
mean, I think we give a shout out to Kyle Go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kyle, 10 scale racer, finishing second in intermediate nitro buggy.
That's really good. Yeah.
Not that far behind Chris.
Evan Berg, Minnesota guy, getting 13th in sportsman. I'm looking for Lance Parker, Minnesota guy, getting 5th in sportsman e-buggy.
And I feel like if you beat Chicky, you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, dude, Chicky for an old man is fast as hell. Oh man.
Sure.
I mean, Lance Parker taking an 8th in sportsman e-truggy, doing very well there. And I mean, I know Drew Dawkin went, and I could not find any of his results. Sportsman Nitro buggy. Did we have it? Lance Parker again taking 7th, just killing it. But really, the pro classes.
I mean, we should probably start with
Lance is saying he tried his best, and it's like, yeah, Lance, you did really awesome out there. Y'all did. And you know what sucks is the hoodie event was the same weekend. I count about 20 entries just from Minnesota that would have been at the hoodie event if it wasn't the same weekend as P&B. There was a 6-week heads up for this hoodie event because it happened so quick. All of a sudden, it's like, oh, it just happened really fast. And what are you going to do? Say no? I don't think so. Because, I mean, it was an awesome event. Let's look at Pro Electric Buggy. Mason Fuller pulling off the win, beating Juan Carlos Canas and Ryan Mayfield. Brandon Rose up there all weekend with the Associated. It seems like look,
I consistently he was really close all weekend. I think whatever he's doing something that the other guy's on.
Yeah. He was the only fast associated pro at this event.
Yeah.
We'll say it like that. You know, I've been hearing rumors of a new car for months and months and months and months and months. I didn't look too hard. I kind of wonder if he was on the new platform. But if I've been hearing rumors of a C-Hub car, just rumors, nothing confirmed.
I didn't even. You could have asked me to look. I could have gone and talked to him.
I wish you would. Well, I mean, if it's a prototype car, I doubt the car's even in his pits. That's one. It's one of those scenarios that like Richard Saxton would scoop the car up and kind of,
No, but I could have. I probably could have found out something.
Yeah. You think you could have.
Look. I could.
Oh, Alex is saying Lance was fast at the Techno Series, and he's saying that Emerson just got his AE Nitro buggy. That would suck. Alex, we've all been there.
Mm-hmm.
We've all gotten a new car, and then, it's too late in the year, I think, to release a new A scale. Because at this point, they usually release around March or April. Oh, I'm being told no C-Hub in the pits was there this weekend. Here's another question. Running the pillow ball, was Brandon setting it up like an S-Works? That would have been a great question. We got to have... Do you know Brandon Rose?
We've talked a couple times. I talked to his dad as well.
I don't know Brandon Rose. We need to get him on this show.
I could probably reach out to him.
So, Pro Nitro buggy, Mayfield wins, and not really a surprise by any stretch of the imagination. Mason Fuller, though, after 30 minutes, only 10 seconds behind Mayfield. Seth Van Dalen in the 3 spot, 2 seconds behind Fuller.
Mm-hmm.
Lutz in the 4, Rose in the 5, Juan Carlos in the 6. Dude, Jonah Wilson putting a sparkle in the A main, huh? So did Lee Setzer. Lee Setzer did as well.
Well, Jonah got 5th in Pro E-Buggy.
Yeah.
And then Lee Setzer got a 9. Tyler Jones got a 12.
Yep.
So Sparko getting up there.
Yeah. Techno Series racers again. Alex making points. Techno Series racers. Jared Tebow's a Techno Series racer as well, but I don't know if he did well this weekend. Well, in Pro Nitro Buggy. In Pro Nitro Buggy, he took 18th. Is that the last spot on the grid? I know it's a big grid.
I think they took 18 in the A main.
Yeah. Yeah. Kevin's saying, but maybe something was going down on Brandon's ride. Oh, yeah. Mason Fuller as well. Yeah, Alex, you've listened to the show enough. We all think Mason and Seth grew up not like together, but racing each other in the Techno Series and all around and all that stuff. And then Mason was having his moment, and now Seth is coming back and starting to have his moment. And then I think they're going to be top dogs here really soon. I do. Oh, Rose was ready to cut in half front tower like on the Techno. See, no, this is the stuff I like. Kevin Spanier spilling the tea. Well, probably not. There are probably photos of it that I didn't see. So that's interesting. Pro Nitro Truggy, Ryan Mayfield takes the win. Lee Setzer 2 in the Sparko. That's a brand new Truggy.
Mm-hmm.
Mason Fuller in the 3. Then it's Wiggins in the 4. Another Techno Series guy. Jonah Wilson. Hecker. Yep. Ogden was in there, blank manufacturer. What was Ogden running?
I was told it was Mugen. I could not find him.
I would have guessed Mugen because I don't think he sold them. There was that little spot in between HB and Sparko to where he had those Mugens,
Yeah.
and they would still be up to date cars. So
Yeah, I tried to look for him a couple times and I couldn't really find him. He wasn't in with the other manufacturer, so he must have been in one of the stalls.
oh yeah.
And when I went through, I mean, there's like probably 200 or 300 stalls. And I was trying to go through them and look and see who I could find there, and it was hard. It was hard finding the DRC drivers there because either I was at the vendor table or I was watching races, talking to people, and then when I wasn't doing any of that, I'd go, look for people and talk to them, and it was just hard to do all that. Oops.
Yeah, it would seem like a lot. 1,000 entries, that many people, that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Rick is wondering, isn't that a throwback to early 90s A scales? Yes, and Techno made a bold choice and started doing it again, and it worked well for them. And yeah, I think other manufacturers are going to follow suit with that cut, that open top front tower. And you're also going to see a lot of tacoed shock towers.
Yeah, that's my I feel like it's just not as durable.
Oh, no way.
It's probably a little bit more forgiving though.
Yeah.
Like it probably flexes a little bit
Yep.
and then but
Really good for rough tracks.
well, it was getting pretty rough.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't too bad. But there were some rough spots out
Okay.
there. There was particularly this I couldn't see the whole track. I didn't get to watch a ton of racing, but there was I really liked watching so I sat kind of the opposite of the driver's stand.
Okay.
And
Nice.
I got to see like the backside of the wall ride and then kind of that half of the track to the whoops, and then coming onto the straightaway where that sweeper was after they call it like the patio section where the concrete was.
Yep.
There was a big divot in there, and guys were saying they were traction rolling.
Yeah.
And I watched several of those guys hit that divot and just like
It wasn't traction. They were just eating shit on the divot.
yeah, but they
Gotcha.
didn't. They didn't know that.
No. Jeff Hansen and Jacob Schweisberger checking in. That wall ride. Now, I wasn't there.
Oh.
I wasn't there. But if I spent all that money to go to a race like that and I saw that without trying it, and this is me saying this blindly, without trying it, I would be pissed off.
You don't know PNP then.
No,
So
I mean, I know they always have something.
they always have something crazy. Well,
Yeah.
they are known for their crazy feature, I should say.
Yeah. Yes.
So I feel so 2 points. One, I want to talk about the cowgirl pass on the wall. But
Okay.
also I didn't feel like the wall ride was too bad. I feel like maybe it could have been laid down a little bit more to make it a little easier.
Well,
Or
the thing, I didn't drive on it. I just saw him putting it up. I saw a video of it. I'm like, oh God, it looked like more of an obstacle than part of a racetrack.
yeah, it was. I say it wasn't executed well enough.
Okay.
I think it was too difficult. I think it's a really cool idea. Some of these guys in the comments are saying there's a bump. I saw a number of times when people failed at the wall ride, it just took a gaggle of cars out.
I suppose, yeah.
because you would either
Car would
best
be
case
like off
scenario,
the line.
yeah, a best case scenario, you fell back down on the right side. You know, you go up and you fall down on the off side, and then guys can drive around you. But a lot of times they were falling back down on the entry side and taking out cars,
Oh,
and it was like I don't know the right way to do a wall ride, but that was there was a lot of carnage there. I felt like that was definitely one of the hardest parts of the track.
okay.
And the whoops being the second hardest until they got beat down. Once they got beat down, I felt like it was okay. Like it
Yep.
was a reasonable level of difficulty.
Whoops aren't good until there's a line through them. Like fresh
Yeah.
whoops suck.
Yeah, that's when I watched some guys practice like Friday morning
Yep.
or Thursday night, I can't remember. And it was like just pure chaos out there. And then I watched it Saturday afternoon and
Yep.
saw some guys and there was a line through there. And you could see like where people were landing and what they were doing. And it was not bad. I felt
Nice.
like that was an okay difficulty section, but the rest of the track wasn't. I mean, there was a like an off camber, so you would come down the wall ride and do this like off camber. You go over this hill and then do like an off camber turn back around,
Yep.
but you were looking at it. That was really. I felt like a lot of people just lost a bunch of time there. Um, and so it was kind of like I don't know. That was definitely like a difficult spot, but not like it wasn't an obstacle course.
Sure.
I felt like the wall ride was I don't know.
And like
But
Kevin's
when
saying, if they would have used Masonite on the transition side, it might have worked better. And then it was somebody that it's disappeared, but somebody was saying it was Jason saying if they would have used like 2 less tires, it would have been a
yeah
little bit. But Lance is saying he could hit the whoops section, almost jump the whole thing if he hit it hard enough. But he's saying he didn't land on his wheels every time. But
yeah
yeah, Jason's saying it was you could easily overshoot everything.
hmm and that's kind of what it felt like. And some of those you could without a problem.
Yeah.
And some of it you couldn't. And the Joker lane this year, I saw a number of people that were going for the Joker lane hit cars going into the whoop section
Okay.
because you had to do like a hard, like 120-degree
Yep.
corner into the whoop section. And then the guys going in the Joker lane had all the speed coming off that big double in the back.
Yep.
And just, man, I saw some guys get blown up. And then the Joker lane lap was ruined. It wasn't, I don't know the right way to do that. And I also saw some guys coming out of the whoop section from the patio to, the 180 onto the sweeper, get hit as well. So I like the idea of the Joker lane. I don't know that was in the right spot.
Yeah.
Or,
I really like the idea of the Joker lane too. It's a kind of a pain in the ass for the race director though. Because the race
yeah,
director has to be like, hey, you have to go through the Joker lane, or hey, if it's quicker, you only have 2 more times through it, and let people know. So if you went through too many times, what is the penalty? Does it not count you?
I think you got docked a lap.
Okay, so
I
it
don't
doesn't.
remember what he said the penalty was, but there was a penalty for it. And I feel like because it was some of those laps were almost 15 seconds faster for a Joker lap than
Yep.
a average lap, especially for the B main drivers.
Yep.
Like the A main drivers, it was like 10 seconds or less for a Joker lap. But for some of those, it was a lot quicker because especially if you're struggling with the whoops,
Sure.
or the
Totally.
that concrete's super slick and it's hard to like you can just overdrive the piss out of it, and it's easy to lose a ton of time there.
Yep. So, yeah, Kevin and Lance is saying the same thing. Your lap didn't count. Um, yeah, it's just, I've seen the Joker lane at P&B layouts work very well and sometimes not so well. I do like that they keep it going. It's one of the very, very, very few races that uses a Joker lane. And yeah, if you have it auto set to where if you use it more than 3 times, it doesn't count your lap, good. Make it easy. So, speaking of wall rides that worked, this weekend I went to Island Speedway and Star Collectibles in Muscatine, Iowa for the first Hoodie Series race on American soil, and I was there to work with Mod Live Media.
First Hootie off-road.
Yes,
Hootie
off-road. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. You're right. But the layout was so fun. It had a full wall ride all the way down the sweeper. They normally do. I was hoping they'd have a chicane in the wall ride. That's always fun. Or like a bus stop.
In the wall ride?
In the wall ride. Because the wall ride isn't at an extreme angle. You can drive all over that thing under control.
Kind of like what I was referencing earlier.
Think like Talladega banking. That's a good way to talk, or Bristol. Like you have control. Jacob saying he wish he could have gone to it. Yeah, it was fun. It was a great INS warm-up. There are a lot of guys that were not running sauce as a gentleman's agreement getting ready for the INS event and the Roar Nationals.
No sauce for those?
No sauce for INS or Roar Nationals. I was saucing the crap out of my truck.
How did they police that? Just no sauce in the pit?
Yeah, no sauce in the pit. Obviously, if you have wet tires, absolutely no go. There's some people who say that there's a special kind of tape to tell if you have sauce on your tire. I don't buy that shit for a second.
Am I back?
Yeah, you're back.
Oh.
Yeah, my internet's not the greatest tonight as well. I turned off every Wi-Fi device in the basement. And again, I'm not hard linked in. I truly actually don't have the time. I haven't had the time to sit in my sim racing rig. I just started working on my fifth scales for Southern's opener on April 26th. So yeah, I'm behind on everything. So I never knew this guy before. His name is Aaron Mitchell. Okay. And this guy fucking spanked everybody.
Oh, really?
Everybody. He went 15 for 15 over the weekend. He won all 9 of his heat races, and then he won 6 of the AAA mains. So he did 2 and then was out for the 3rd. Holy shit.
This is a pretty low turnout, though.
It was a low turnout, but you still had national champions. You had Nate Sutherland, you had Jake Wiggs, Talon Henley, Evan Tapp, Kyle Holmberg. You had national level fast drivers. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but that's a pretty it was, but there was no. Let's go to Mod. Let's look at Mod here.
Look at Mod 2-wheel because he crushed in that as well. There wasn't any names in Mod 2-wheel. Well, Jamie's an efficient driver. He's just
okay.
Not,
but there's no if you look at an INS race, that's what I would expect something like this to be.
Yes, but if you look at stock, you have national level drivers. Straight up. You have a few, but Nate Sutherland, who has won a 4-wheel drive Roar National title, I believe Talon's got a truck national title under his belt.
I'm not taking anything away from Aaron. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That-
No,
that-
no, dude. Okay. Usually I'm like, yeah, I could understand but when I watched him gap Nate Sutherland, it's like, what the hell? It was, and he is in all the classes. It just wasn't in four wheel. He won 17.5 two wheel pretty handily as well. Talon Henley took second, and in that second A main, Talon found a little something, but still didn't even come close, to be honest.
No, I mean 11 seconds is a lot, and Nate with 19 seconds,
Yeah.
or 18 seconds. But I feel we should maybe give those guys a little slack yet. And it's I think Talon's first carpet race with.
Oh, and the dude looked phenomenal. The dude looked awesome. I'm telling you.
Mistakes or just pace?
They all had similar fast laps. Okay. Like two wheel, I think was like around a 14.1, 14.0 for fast lap. They all had the same fast laps. Aaron was just within 0.2 of his fast lap every lap. He just didn't do a hero lap and then whatever. Rick is saying, bro is fast. Jacob saying he raced him at RC Crash and Bash in Island. His setup and motors are stupid fast. He knows his stuff. Like I said, Zach, you're going to see this guy at INS, and I think we're going to see similar results. I really do. Maybe not in two mod. I'll give you two-wheel mod. Two-wheel mod, I would say with that group of guys, he'll be below the pros.
I mean, I don't know what this like. He did really good, and I feel like
I didn't know who this guy was until last weekend. I had no idea. And he's an Iowa racer. He's the state right below me. I have no clue who this guy is. And he was so fast and so consistent. It's you usually get a fast guy or you get a consistent guy. It's rare you see somebody consistently fast. Okay.
Yeah. Let's look at.
Like, I mean, I don't want to be a dick rider to the guy or nothing, but I mean,
you are hot for Aaron Mitchell.
I don't mean to be
your wife.
But the dude just, I've never seen with this group of guys, I've never seen anybody grab 3 TQs and cinch 3 A mains in 2. With this, there wasn't a ton of guys, but the talent level was there.
I mean, he did a 98% consistency, so
yeah. I want to say in round 1 he had a mistake in both heats and barely TQ'd, or it was round 2. I can't remember which round. But yeah, it was awesome to watch him, but it was also watching, Jake Wiggs and Nate Sutherland battle, and Evan Tapp, local Minnesota guy, getting up there and battling with those guys when a year and a half ago, Evan Tapp was getting beat by me. That's super cool to see Evan up there.
I mean, Evan 2 seconds behind Nate and beating Talon by a second's really good.
That's insanely good.
Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of progress. That is a lot of and I don't mean to take anything away from any of these guys. I'm just
Evan's really pumped. Ever since Evans grabbed that X-ray car, him and that car have gelled very well together.
Good. What's Aaron running?
Aaron's running X-ray.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, those X-ray cars have been really good.
It's their time right now, and they should enjoy it while they have it, because they're not going to have it forever. I'm going to just say that much.
Well, I think it goes like that for a lot of the manufacturers.
Yeah, no,
You
everybody
know,
has their day in the sun.
yeah, I feel like it rotates and they it is it's tough to stay at the top for a long time because the guys at the bottom, not the bottom, not winning, um, are willing to try stuff that's new and inventive. And I feel like the companies that are at whoever's at the top, Associated, X-Ray, whatever, they don't try new and innovative things
Yep,
because like what they have works really well. So they just try to develop that.
yep, yep. Yeah, Jacob saying give him credit, he earned it. Yeah,
Yeah.
he has earned it too.
No, I don't mean to take anything away from
No,
him.
I know.
I'm just
Normally, okay, if you took a couple of these guys away, it's like, yeah, okay, but when you have Holmberg, Hanley, and Wiggs and Sutherland, and now Tap up in there, you have five insanely strong guys. Like any of those guys could win any weekend.
yeah.
Oh. That was my point. It's like just yeah, I was impressed with the guy. That has my main point. I'm not very easily impressed by people, but dude ran a solid event. So yeah, the DRC 13.5 Expert four wheel. You had Aaron Mitchell in the one, Sutherland in the two, Wiggs in the three.
Mhm.
Wiggs was doing very well all weekend too.
He was. I feel like I don't know. I'm just a little disappointed in the turnout for this.
Well, because and again,
I know,
we
but
were
it's still not. If you get 20 more drivers, it's still not
it's
like
still not great, but I mean, I guarantee there were other people at P&B that would have been at this. There's also a race at PDX where a few of those guys would have been at Island. There was the April Fool's race. I guarantee a couple of those guys would have been at Island. It was just a shitty weekend to try to wedge another race.
yeah, yeah.
It really was. To be fair, it wouldn't have been a barn burner, but I could definitely see it being a 200 entry event.
Um,
Choban's saying you're such a downer, Zach. I have to agree, man.
okay, I mean that's fine. You guys can be haters. Um, I'm being realistic. Like,
No,
and I
you're
don't mean to take. I think Aaron's results are legitimate, and I think his gap to the fast guys is legitimate as well. I'm just saying, like, I'm disappointed in the turnout.
no, I know. Yeah, the turnout itself, it's like, man, I was looking on my way there at RC sign up and there's 103. And I'm like, that's rough. You had like Alex says, you had so many other races.
Yeah, and I don't. I feel like we don't need another race. I feel like we should
I
like be combining
well,
these races.
true, but hoodie event on an off-road event on American soil. Oh yeah. Jacob, I didn't see what the spec tire was for two wheel and four wheel at the Roar race. I'm sure one of them sucks. No, I really it.
Is the um spec tire front and rear for two-wheel drive?
Yeah. Yeah, Jeremiah's saying wish we had our own version of Island. Yeah, we did once. But anyways, quick shout out to Matt Olson for winning IMRC Racing 17.5 independent two wheel. I wrenched on that car all weekend to make it okay.
Just okay.
Yeah. Um we we got it handling very well. it was just down on power.
Mm.
HRP 21.5 independent buggy. John Mans won it. Thomas Vandervelden. That's a fun name to say in 2, and cameraman Chris in 3. But yeah, other than that, expert buggy, Aaron Mitchell, Talon Henley, Nate Sutherland. No surprise there. Stadium truck. Kyle Holmberg wins, followed by Evan Tapp and Jake Wiggs. I mean, yeah, it was a good weekend of racing. And you know what was nice? We were done racing. This is what I like about lower turnouts, to be honest. We were done racing with AAA mains with the expert modified. We were done at like 12:45.
Yeah.
That's
it
nice.
is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know.
So I only have a couple notes and then we got questions and we can get out of here, huh?
Yeah.
So, and again, huge thanks to Mod Live Media, the Henley family. Jason or Shuey, his Stephen Shuey, his wife made us baked goods and freshly baked bread. Just awesome. Jeff's wondering, do you need a hug? Jeff's had a rough week as well. I think you both need a hug.
I don't need a hug, actually. I'm doing okay. I just feel like I'm disappointed in the turnout of an event that was supposed to be good.
Yeah. And you know what?
I understand why it was bad, but like still it sucks.
Yeah. If it happens again next year, it'll be good. The amount of money Hoodie spent on the banner that spanned the entire back straightaway, I'm hoping they'll have another event there.
Put a fair amount of dollars into that as well.
Yeah, dude, banners are expensive like that. I mean, yeah. So all I have, oh crap, we didn't cover the world's warm up. We gotta look at that quick. Sorry.
Is that on Live RC?
Yes, that was important.
I mean, I could just summarize it for you because it was crazy.
Local guy wins.
Yeah, local guy wins.
I love it.
Local fast guy, Lachlan Donnelly. Lachlan used to be a DRC driver, and then he is no longer a DRC driver, and I will keep that there. Yeah. But I am very happy for him. He's a young and up and coming. Well, I guess he's here now. Yep. But he did really good. He beat Spencer in both classes.
Yep.
I don't remember the results off the top of my head, though.
So I got it in 4-wheel. It was Lachlan in the 1, Spencer in the 2, Chase in the 3.
There we go.
4-wheel, Bada and Horn, man. Close to the bottom. But I mean, they're not local guys. They're there for setup stuff. Renderdeck in the 14. That's a little rough.
That was pretty rough. But Schumacher, who's running Schumacher out there?
Well, Schumacher, their 4-wheel is belt drive, and it should do very well on that surface.
If they get the setup, yeah. But I mean, they've been working on setup for clay and carpet.
Yep. 2-wheel modified. Holy shit. Dude, just Australian domination. Ben Cribben in the 1, Gavin Webb in the 2, and Peter Seckold in the 3. Then Spencer was the highest finishing American in 19. Aiden Horn in 20. Davey Bada 21. It was a little bit rougher in 2-wheel.
Jacob Orlowski was there, and he did pretty good.
Yeah, Chase Lemieux in 56.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh.
So let's see. Where did Orlovsky finish? He finished 7th with that 4-wheel.
which is still like
That's tough for Orlovsky. I don't know. Maybe I am a fanboy, but I always expect Orlovsky to be on the podium.
I would. This is probably his first race there, so I'd say this is fair.
Yep, but this is not Spencer's first race there.
No.
Rick makes a point. He's like, how often do the top guys from the US or even UK run on outdoor dirt anymore? That is true. Mm-hmm. But I can say for the associated guys, they at least had a base.
Yes.
So, yeah. Anyways, World's warm up. It looked like a lot of fun. It looked like a different kind of groove when it did groove. So yeah. All I have for notes, so local track, the Toy Box is switching from AstroTurf to the same kind of carpet as Dollar Hobbies, and I am extremely pumped for this.
Is that track closer to you than Dollar?
No, they're the same distance, but I love racing at the Toy Box, but you need two different. You either need no life and all the time in the world to reset your cars up between Astro and carpet, or you run one or the other, or you have two cars. So
I could see that.
You know, I could see the Toy Box. You might need a little more ride height, or maybe even a little different tire, but the suspension, like the basic setup of the car, should be the same. And I'm excited because I miss running at the Toy Box. I really do. I couldn't justify buying a second set of vehicles this winter.
Yeah, and you know, I think them doing that's going to be good for the racing scene.
Yep.
You know, I think you're going to get a lot more crossover.
So Jeff's saying Orlovsky is arguably the best driver in the world right now. He can adapt to anything. So Alex is saying we shouldn't put much into the results. A lot of R&D was happening.
Do we see
he's saying he'd rather get a hand job from Edward Scissorhands than race carpet again?
Do you think Angaro's going to go to the Worlds?
I think he will, and I think he's going to take the same exact attitude he did at the last Worlds, and he's probably going to damn near win it, if not win the whole thing.
Well, isn't that like Orlovsky's thing? And like,
I think Orlovsky cares more. I really do.
Or I'm sorry, I'm not Angaro. Isn't it Angaro's thing to see for man? I can't talk tonight. For these types of tracks, isn't it? You know, he likes the loose dirt tracks that he can.
Oh, definitely, especially for A scale.
Yeah, well, but it's a 10 scale, but it's four-wheel drive, so like, I feel like he would do well in four-wheel drive because they drive similar from what I remember. It's been a while. But two-wheel drive, he probably struggles.
Yeah, there's. I bet there's you can't really do a prototype car that's never going to be released at the Worlds. Technically, there's rules against that. To a point, because I don't know when that rule came in effect, but everybody always talks about Masami's 91 Worlds car and that never being released. I don't know if it had something to do with that or if it was a rule prior or a rule for a different reason, but it has to be a release or released within a certain time of the Worlds. Alex is so what I do have to say about the new carpet they're putting in at the Toy Box, Dollar made it a rule not to sauce on that carpet. Oh, he's saying that rule doesn't exist anymore. That'll be interesting. So there might be prototype cars all over the place. But that carpet, if you don't sauce on it, and it gets a natural rubber groove, it's one of the most consistent and best surfaces to race on. You don't get fuzzed up, you don't get shit in your tires. It works well. Because Matt's saying, yeah, the Astro fuzz got everywhere. Jacob's wondering, do you think we'll see rear motor modifications? No, but I think we'll see more transmission variations. I think we'll see a weird lay back, like 5 gears, something like that. Rick is saying, why you can't just develop your own car and show up? I guess it's not a rule anymore, so you could, but I know for the longest time, like, okay, example, the reason they had a re-release of the double X4 has come because some Australian dude won with it in 2003 or 5, and they re-released the world's car. So back then it was still a rule. I don't know when they killed the rule. And again, Alex is a plethora of knowledge of that stuff. I just kind of remember various little things. And also, the only other note I have is Bob Isaac. I think he did the Wolfpack WIRC racing thing. Seems like he's out of RC altogether, which I think he was the WIRC USA team manager, which that
who was running that car? Who is running that car?
There's a few guys. It's not a bad car. It's just, you know.
But there's tons of good cars, and there's tons of discounts for those good cars.
Yeah, you're right. So we'll see what happens. I know. I can't remember who's running it now. Is it Barufalo? One of those one of the top Europeans is running it.
I didn't think they had a driver.
They do.
I don't know. It was a crazy, silly season this year.
It was.
He's new to the team. I don't think he was there last year.
Oh, he was.
He was second year.
And he also had his own series too that was fairly popular. So, all right. So we got questions happening, and a lot of them are about tariffs.
Yeah.
I don't want to read them all.
Okay.
So, insider baseball guys, the second tariffs were announced but not implemented, people started gouging. Okay. Part of my job is buying metal. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, material went up. And they blamed tariffs that didn't exist yet. All of them. You know, if it was one or two, I could just get rid of those metal suppliers for being shisty little bastards. No, it was all of them. Starting in January, there were no tariffs in January.
Right.
So the gouging started immediately. So you guys are going to see it no matter what. If tariff 1 never takes place, you're still going to see it because we've all been getting screwed. I bet you have too.
I mean, I have gotten lucky thus far. I'm not looking forward to my next orders. Because I don't know if anybody knows this, but the majority of the stuff that we buy in the RC industry isn't set up to be made in the US. Like, no. There's some stuff that's made in the US, like Steve Radecki with Rad Bodies. His bodies are made in the US. I don't know where the material's from. I don't know where the mold and stuff is from. I know some of it's from China just because you can't get around it. But like your motors, your batteries, a lot of your
So a simple way to put it is the electronics are China, the kits are Taiwan.
Your accessories, also China.
Yep.
I would say probably a lot of your option parts from not um like your option parts from other brands
Mhm.
are from China, not from or use some kind of Chinese materials.
Right. Right.
Maybe because I know some of the stuff is made or like actually made in the U.S., but it's like with foreign materials.
Yes.
And
A lot of people don't realize, like, let's say metal is an example, because I know metal, how much more expensive DFAR's metal is than foreign metal. It's like crazy.
yeah,
So, Rick has a good question. And I don't think he meant it in a positive light, but I see it as a positive light. He goes, think all these smaller brands are just going to pull out of the US with all of these tariff shenanigans. Well, Rick, I hope so. I hope that in the US that we can shrink with the amount of brands we have, more setup help, more development with, major brands, and get these oddball guys into normal rides instead of Joe Schmo's fucking A scale buggy. I think that'd be a really good thing if some of these little shitbox companies would get the hell out.
I think you could say that for tires.
Yes.
Some of the electronics now, like everyone's got a servo, everyone's got a battery.
They're all the same too.
Yeah. A lot of the accessory companies, again, are just some of them are just straight up T-Works stuff. Some of them
Oh yeah.
are not just that, but they're, to that effect, made in China and then um, shipped over. So I don't know. Um, I agree with you, Joe, though. I think that we have too many brands in RC or too
Yeah.
many hands. I think that actually there's probably some opportunity here from these small companies that have put in the work,
Yes.
grow. Um, and I think you will see some decline in some of these bigger companies just because, like, if you have, I mean, just as an example, if you have, we'll say Associated has to go through, um, and, we'll just say they have a 50% price increase or even a 25% price increase. And then you have a company
There
like
shouldn't really be a price increase with Associated, but I see what you're saying. Go ahead.
just as an example.
Yeah.
And then you have another company like Schumacher,
Yep.
who's a lot of the stuff is made in Europe, or even X-Ray as a better example, where the majority of their stuff is made in Europe, if not all of it. Then they're definitely going to have a big advantage in
Oh,
this
absolutely.
because now you're going to have two cars that are essentially the same price, but one's a lot higher quality,
Yep.
and you're going to be able to get parts a lot cheaper. It's hard.
Jeremiah says he can't wait to watch a fireworks shows from the Indian batteries. Oh man.
Are there
I
a
don't know.
lot of Indian batteries?
I think that's the other place that manufactures and they won't have a tariff. So here's the deal. I'll spend, instead of spending $75 on a battery pack,
Mhm.
if I know the battery's safe, I would rather spend 150 on a pack rather than risk my shit on an unknown brand just because that's what in the early lipo days, that's what a lot of those lipo fires were. um I mean, Gen Ace, they are now a force to be reckoned with. They make good batteries, but back in the early LiPo days, man,
I know.
it was bad.
It was.
I wouldn't allow a Gens Ace in my house. I would not allow a Turnigy in my house. And there were a couple others.
There were.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, yeah, no, it's at the end of the day, even if you're a millionaire, you don't understand what's happening. I'll listen to people's ideas if they're billionaires. Yeah, Jeremiah, SMC. SMC used to be the bomb until they lost their intellect contract. Yeah, I sent you that really long post from Horizon earlier.
Mhm.
It's like, yeah, you're putting on tariffs and raising the prices. The only thing I run that's Horizon is the 5Ts. So I run their most expensive vehicle. So that's going to suck.
Yeah, but I don't know. That might be the knife in some of these classes.
Yep.
It kills them, and we need a cheap alternative. I think, well, there's no cheap alternative for off-road. And electronics are really going to be the hard thing. It's going to, just because all of it's like, I can't, like, I buy a lot of wire.
Yes.
I can't buy it in the US.
No.
Like,
how many foot spools are you buying?
So I go through about I go through about 6,000 balance leads a year, and probably let's say 2,000 pounds between the various ones.
Okay.
Most of that's 10 and 12 gauge.
Yes.
And a lot of 22 gauge, because it's 3 times plus the amount
Yes.
for the 22 gauge than 3 balance wires or more.
Yeah.
But so if you do the math on that, at 4 foot a charge lead times 6,000 is 240,000 feet. Is that right?
Yep. Wow.
I can't.
And then with all your other stuff as well.
Yeah, so I can't touch that. Even at, I tried to buy 50,000 feet of wire from the US, and I can't.
No.
Not enough.
No.
And I don't need, and yeah, it's,
yep.
I don't know what to even do, because you can't buy heat shrink here.
Nope.
You can't buy connectors here. Like, there's not machines to even make them.
Right.
Which is my whole thing. And to invest in a machine like that is hundreds of thousands, if not more.
It's not worth it.
To become a manufacturing company for that part. And then you need, it's just not that machine. You have way more than that going into it. It's just so much.
Yeah. Slow is fast. RC podcast checking in. Hey, there's another one we got to check out. Jeremiah saying you can't source it from Malaysia, Philippines, or Singapore. Jeremiah, I guarantee the RC world is going to get creative through this. We always do.
Mm-hmm. I actually have a couple ideas myself.
Yes. Well, that's that's the thing. So you're talking about dumping a couple $100,000 into machinery if you were to do it yourself.
That's not a reasonable thing to do.
To make it even be reasonable, you would have to make 7 figures the first year off of it, which I don't see that ever happening.
I mean, I would do you don't have to make 7 figures if you're going to put, let's say you put 200 in. If you could make 200 that first year, I feel like that's a win. I know it's not, but that's one product. That's a connector.
Yeah. Right.
Yep. Yeah. But there's not $200,000 in connectors being placed a year.
Exactly.
One type of connector. Let's say 5 mil bullets, probably the most popular connector on the market. I don't. You might hit $200,000 a year.
Maybe.
Like, I know how much I pay for my 5 mil connectors, and
Yep.
they're not the cheap ones. Um, like the industry standard connectors are way cheaper than the DRC connectors.
Yep.
And then there's cheaper versions than that are, so I don't, that's hard.
Right. Let's see what else we got. Scotty Shuttle goes, for the love of God, when will buggy rear silver ellipses be back in stock? And then Holmberg's like, they are in stock. You gotta look at, yeah. That's a tough thing. He's running a clay track called the Lucky 13.
Mm-hmm.
And when J Concepts runs out of a silver compound tire, it's for a little while. It's not like, oh, they'll be in stock next week. It's like,
Well, where are these tires coming from? Are they from China? Are
no,
they from, okay.
no, I don't know. I don't know exactly, but I know they're not from China.
I wonder where like Hot Race gets and Matrix, because they're Italian companies,
Yeah.
but I don't know if they're being made in Europe or not.
Well, no, that's another thing I don't understand about the tariffs. So let's say if Hot Race has their tires made in China, but they bag it up in Europe and they sell it to the United States, is it subject to tariffs?
Well, it's supposed to be the country of origin that it's manufactured from.
Okay.
But like it, I don't know, because that's like let's take a DRC charge lead for example. Like I handcrafted in the like USA. I take all these parts, I take it off the spool, I cut it to the right length. I cut the sheathing off the spool to the right length and connectors and put them all together into this finished product.
Yep.
But there's most of those products are foreign products. They're not from the US, but I physically make them in the US.
Right.
Like how does that work?
I don't know. I have no idea. And then yeah, Jeremiah saying thought he did some of his own molds in Florida. I'm not exactly sure. I do
Plastic.
not know how J Concept tires are made. All I know is I'm super happy to be on the team, and they produce some of the fastest off-road tires ever made. So that's what I pay attention to. Kevin saying some red teammates have been getting a charge from UPS, even though I'm guessing trying to say they're exempt. That's very, yeah, I'm not sure exactly. And again, it's all a mess. And like I said earlier, when we started talking about tariffs, it's another way for companies to gouge the living shit out of the people they're selling to. You also have to remember that.
Yeah. So what else do we have besides tariffs?
Just Jacob saying, great job announcing the past two events. What do I think of the absence of TLR in the gain of X-Ray and Schumacher drivers? I mean, here's the deal. Up until this past year, I've never been a Losi. I've had Losis in TL. I've never had a 22 version TLR except for a mini truggy conversion. Okay. But I have had Horizon built Losi buggies like in the triple X form. Losi hasn't been Losi owned since the year 2000. TLR was an awesome brand under Horizon for a lot of years. And they sit there and they don't support their team, but they sit and pimp their shit on the Facebook page when somebody does well with their stuff. Which is a little frustrating. Like they had empty tents at PNB.
Yeah, they had one guy pitting under it. They had 3 tents set up.
Yep.
and then they had one guy pitting, and then he left.
Yep. I mean, seriously, I think they might have just decided to pull the plug on the racing side, which is whatever. It's what happens when you get the wrong. And it's not corporations. We'll get in that in a second. Jeremiah's wondering, isn't TLR supposed to have new releases coming out? Yeah, supposed to be. Yeah, absolutely supposed to be, but they're not. That stuff was supposed to be out long time ago. But I mean, TLR, my guess is they're over, and it's not because they're big corporation. There's nothing wrong with big corporations if you align with them. Like, I would consider A-Main Hobbies a big fucking corporation.
Mm-hmm.
And when there was a rumor that they were buying Team Associated, which didn't end up happening, I thought for sure it was going to happen. I was so excited. I was so excited that a racing company, a big corporation like A-Main Hobbies would have bought Team Associated because their values align with the racing side.
We can't really say that, but
I
think more so than Associated.
The bloodline of A-Main Hobbies starts from racing.
Associated.
So, yeah.
I mean, I don't think what Horizon did with Losi was incorrect. I don't think them leaving the racing scene was wrong.
Yep.
I think how they did it, timing of it, and
it was shit.
Yeah, and what they did to a lot of the people was very bad. Like,
yes.
Terrible. Like,
yes.
So bad for Horizon. They lost a shit pile of money. Bad for the community and the sport in general. And good because it let, like we were talking about earlier, we don't need another brand. We don't need,
right.
Especially one that's going to half-ass it like Horizon was the last 3 years.
Yeah, Rick says when you piss off an entire team, they take their friends and followers with them, and then races are suddenly void of TLR. Jeremiah says, when I was talking about Associated, says the company with a fucking semi-truck release. I kind of, during the interview with Curtis, I kind of like asked him about that, but you know what? Curtis had a good point, and I couldn't argue with it. He goes, we totally sold out of the first release, and we have back orders for a second release of that semi truck. It's like, how do you argue?
It's just frustrating. I think that, like, there are so many better things that Associated could be doing, especially for the racing community, and like still be profitable, still like make money on these ideas.
Yes.
Not as much money, and I understand like they have an obligation to make, like, to make money. I don't know. Are they in is the company that owns them publicly traded?
Yes. Thunder Tiger is publicly traded in the Taiwan stock market.
Just the Taiwan stock market?
I believe so. Okay.
I don't know.
Still publicly traded.
But so in the U.S., your obligation as a publicly traded company is to make the most money you can for your shareholders. Which I don't think is right either. I don't think like the most, like, you're expected each year to make more money than you did the previous year.
Yes.
in profit, not just in revenue.
So what bothers me about the semi truck is not the semi truck itself. A lot of people have problems with the semi truck itself. My problem is the racing shit needs work. And that if the racing stuff was on point, release a freaking tricycle. I don't care.
Fair.
You know, that's what upsets me. There's other work that needs to be done right now. And I know it's being done, but it's like when they start teasing releases and then this shit. And then they start teasing releases and that shit. It's like, guys,
Well, it seems
quit letting your racing team die on the vine.
it seems like they're struggling.
The four wheel's old and the two wheel needs help. The two wheel, the geometry's right. It just needs help in a couple little areas.
So I mean, I don't know. This is so hard. It to me it feels like we aren't ready to release the new buggy, either one for XYZ reason or the truck or whatever. We're not ready to do them. It could be a variety of reasons.
Yep.
Like, hey, where's the touring car? You're
Just-
late. You're on asphalt season now.
Yep. That should be. I don't know. I don't know. And it's like the most frustrating thing. And Curtis is going with the Curtis is going, at the Clash.
Mm-hmm.
He was more tight-lipped than anybody about anything happening. And it's like, oh my God, this doesn't help. This doesn't help. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel
Get
like
people excited. Don't just drop shit. Get people excited about what's coming.
yeah.
Kevin is saying, why does TLR still sponsor all these races still, but have no product? Because it's a tax write-off to sponsor things to a point.
If you sponsor it in dollars, you can write it off on your taxes.
Yeah. Yeah, Jeremiah's thinking all these re-releases are money grab. At a certain point, yes, a couple of them, I totally agree. And there's nothing wrong with a money grab. It's just get your shit in order. That's all I beg. It's like, please, all you get is wild rumors and speculation and hate and frustration otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. I think we should end this. It's getting pretty late. Dogs have me up at 4 a.m. So, yeah.
Let's get out of here.
All right. I'm Joe Zer Jr. With me was my co-host, Zach Donathan, and we have ran out of talent. Have a good night, guys.